according to the National Institute of Health, about 60 Americans a year have insomnia for extended periods of time, or about half the time that they sleep. So that's about 20% of Americans. And another statistic is that about 50% of American adults have trouble sleeping at night. So you can divide between Christine. All of you guys didn't sleep well last night if you were America, so y'all can fall asleep, but don't, because that makes me look bad. Most people don't know the real specific scientific requirements for a good night's sleep, and they also don't know the benefits of sleeping, or more importantly, the risks of not sleeping well. And there's ways that you can improve your sleep, and most people don't know. They may not know how to improve their sleep. So I hope to clear up those misunderstandings today and share the importance of a good night's sleep. And everyone has different ideas of, what they think. Oh, I need 10 hours of sleep. Most everyone here probably thinks they need 12 hours. Some people can get by, they think, on 4 hours. Sleep needs differ from person to person, and while one 18-year-old may run okay on 6 hours of sleep, another 18-year-old person might need 10 hours of sleep. But there is an actual scientific definition. A good night's sleep for an adult is 7 to 9 hours. And the sleep process, according to Paul Martin, who's an author of a book called Counting Sheep, he said, sleep isn't like turning a light off, which it might seem like because you forget about the falling asleep, but it's a long, continual process. It actually takes you a while to fall asleep. You just don't remember. And a good night's sleep is based on how long you sleep and how well you sleep, which is called the sleep efficiency. And there's two different kinds of sleep cycles you go through at night: REM, which is rapid eye movement, and NREM, non-rapid eye movement. And the NREM sleep, which is made up of 4 stages itself, is the deep sleep that really helps you rest. And that accounts, actually, it's only 25% of the time you sleep. And while some people think sleep might just be the fun part of the day, it has medical benefits and reasons linked to why you have to sleep so much. If you don't sleep the proper 7 to 9 hours, you can go into sleep debt, which is really unhealthy for you, and there's risks that I'll talk about in just a minute. A couple benefits of sleeping well include a strong, healthy immune system, so it keeps you from getting sick, and it can help in weight control because sleep helps control the levels of hormones in your body that are responsible for your appetite and your feeling of fullness. And then a few risks: if you don't sleep the proper amount, 7 to 9 hours every night, you have an increased risk of obesity due to the increased appetite because your hormones aren't controlled. An increased risk of psychiatric illnesses like depression and substance abuse. And also, you can get into a car accident because, let me show you here. Oh, that's right. 40% of truck accidents, or just like the big rig truck accidents, are caused because of driver fatigue. And then also, these are just some facts for you. 33% of America has trouble sleeping at night. 51% of adults have trouble sleeping a few nights each week, which is what I said at the very beginning. And 50% of Americans can't wake up without an alarm clock. And I can't wake up without 4. And there are many things you can do to improve your sleep. And in order to get your quality rest, you need to make sure that you're ready to fall asleep as soon as you go to bed. And so that means you need a sleep-conductive environment. It means no TV in your room, which probably most of you have a TV in your room. Not supposed to watch TV before you go to sleep. And you also need to make sure your room is cool, because right before you fall asleep, your body temperature has to drop. So if your room's really hot, you won't fall asleep as quickly. You'll just lay there until your body cools down. You need a regular falling asleep and waking up time schedule, including weekends. so that's probably why most college students don't sleep very well, because on the weekends you're up all night. And also it's important to avoid caffeine, nicotine, and alcohol close to bedtime, about 2 hours before. And exercising regularly is important for sleeping soundly. But try to avoid exercise right before you go to sleep, because it increases your body temperature. Like I said before, your body has to cool down before you go to sleep. This is based on a survey of about 2,000 people, and these are the number of nights they said they had a good night's sleep. And 50% of the people said that they had a good night's sleep every night, but 26% only said a few nights each month, and 25% never had a good night's sleep. So, in conclusion, while you may think spending 1/3 of your life sleeping, which is what you're supposed to do, is a waste of time or unproductive, far from it. According to the Sleep Foundation, sleep plays a direct role in how full, energetic, and successful the other 2/3 of our life can be. And your quality and quantity of sleep are equally important. Remember, you can do things to improve your sleep and make it more worthwhile and effective. And as college students, we all need about 7 to 9 hours of sleep to be healthy and productive. And the lack of sleep carries very great health risks. So be healthy and get some sleep.
Be careful. All right, so Mina, what did you think?
I thought you had really good. Sorry. I thought you had really good statistics, and you seemed really comfortable up there, and just like your little side crafts and stuff made you seem more lovable. Which you know. Things that you can improve on. You said quite a few times, and I didn't really hear where your citations came from and where you got the information. I liked your visual aids. They were clean and simple, but straightforward, and you could tell what was what. It was pretty good.
All right. I thought that you had good statistics at the start of the speech to get our attention, a very clear identification of the topic. You've got an excellent thesis statement. I didn't think that the material was previewed very well. Either it went by very quickly and I didn't notice it, or it's not really being highlighted, and so the structure, I think, needs to be set up more in the introduction. I had the same problem with the organization during the speech. I think you need some stronger signposts for the material. It didn't feel disorganized to me, but it wasn't as easy to follow as it should be. It ends up being a little bit more narrative and idea to idea instead of being held together by a structure. It wasn't a huge problem, but you do want to make sure that, especially for audiences that are kind of passive, that you give them a little bit more structure. I like the definitions that you had early on. I thought that you were citing material pretty well in the beginning of the speech, at the end of the speech. In the middle, maybe it was not as consistent as it was. And there's a lot of information that you're presenting. The visuals, I don't think you get as much out of them as you could. The first one, you've got, it looks like it's a bar graph, but the things that are on the graphs are not really being compared to each other, so that seems a little bit strange. It's just a way of kind of representing the statistical information. The second one, on the other hand, I thought the pie chart does do the statistical comparison, and that does that pretty well, but you sort of rush through that. It's up there and then it's gone. And for the amount of time that you have both of those up there, I would say probably less than 40 seconds total for the two. We're sitting here in the dark for nearly 7 minutes, and I'm wondering, well, why do we have to be in the dark that whole time? Turn the lights on, turn the light off when you need it. And I'm not even sure if you needed it with that first one or the second one. You probably have shown both of those things with the lights on, and it wouldn't have been a problem. I thought you did a nice job talking to the audience. You generally make it interesting, and I'd agree with what Mina was talking about, your sides, the side comments, and every time you made a reference to people's experience, that's what pulls us into the speech. So it's not just about a bunch of statistics. There's some story there and something that the audience can connect to. All right, thank you.